For many, he's a top five male star in GH history and probably the only James Bond style actor on the show in its golden era of the 1980s. And boys, he drew the women in and he drew the fans in of all ages. Tristan Rogers has Robert Scorpio. Now, Robert Scorpio is a fictional character on ABC soap General Hospital, played by, again, the great actor Tristan Rogers. He originally played the role from December 1980 to February 25th, 92. The popularity and longevity of the character was furthered by his involvement with the monumentally popular super couple Luke and Laura, whose 81 wedding brought in 30 million viewers and remains the highest rated hour in American soap opera history. Now, while Roger Scorpio had been killed with no body found when he left the series in 92, he returned briefly in November of 95 as Scorpio's spirit to comfort his character's daughter, Robin Scorpio, who was dealing with the loss of her boyfriend to AIDS-related illness and is herself HIV positive. He returned in 2006, very much alive, and then reappeared later that year for a few months. For 2008 season, he reprised the role of Scorpio in season 2 of SoapNet's General Hospital Night Shift, which was a primetime spinoff of GH, which stars Scorpio's daughter, Robin. He was featured in 12 of the season's 14 episodes, and the Soap Opera Digest named the appearance the best return of 2008. He later reappeared on GH for 4 episodes in December 2008 as he attends Robin's wedding. He reprised the role for a brief period in March 2012 and as well in late in that year. He came back in 2013. However, head writer Ron Carlivati confirmed on November 14, 2013 that Rogers would be departing the series in order to return to Young and the Restless as his character Colin Atkinson, and departed on January 30, 2014. Now, in October 2015, it was announced that Rogers was going to be returning to the series of Robert while still remaining on Y&R beginning in December of that year. He wrapped his return on February 2nd, 2016, and would reprise his role in summer 2016 for a few weeks. He then appeared from August 26 to September 9, 2016. Now, in March 2018, Soap Opera Digest reported that Rogers would return to the show, and he returned from April to June of that year. Now, in July 2018, Rogers came back again, a return on January 27th, 2018. He also showed up in 2019. But today we're going to mostly cover that first 2 years, because that's where he was on a major plot with the show with Luke and Laura. Now, Robert in Australia has an heroic past. He was involved in many adventures with his good friend Luke and his wife Laura. He has been an international spy for the WSB spy agency and was police commissioner of Port Charles from 82 through 85, then again from 88 through 92, when he supposedly perished in an explosion in South America. When he resigned as police commissioner in 1985, he moved to Australia with his wife Holly to start anew, but returned to Port Charles when Anna and Robin needed his help for the Mr. Big caper. But after he took down the mob, he returned to Australia to be with his wife. Holly was presumed dead soon afterwards, so Robert ended up returning to Port Charles. The interim WSB chief returned to track down agents that were killing other agents. Now, he first showed up in Port Charles under suspicious circumstances, tracing Luke and Alexandra Quartermain in search of an ugly black statue called the Ice Princess, which in reality was a large uncut diamond that had a secret formula which would create carbonic snow, which could either help in medical procedures to fix severe burns or in the wrong hands create world mayhem. For months, Luke and Laura believed each other to be the enemy, but when Luke learned the truth about the Ice Princess, offered to work with Robert to stop the insane Cassadine family, who was bent on world domination. He was joined in Port Charles by Agent O'Reilly, played by Billy Hayes, a feister older woman who kept him on his toes, and unfortunately ended up being murdered by the Cassadines. Because of her death, a vengeful Robert and Luke immediately boarded the Cassadine yacht, the Titan, finding Laura there and stayed out of sight until they got to their private island, where Mikos Cassadine revealed his plans to his esteemed group of guests. Now, Robert, Luke, and Laura found help from Tiffany Hill, the mistress of Victor Cassadine, who wanted to stop Mikos from going through with his evil plans. While Robert and Laura held Mikos' guards at gunpoint, Luke confronted Mikos, which resulted with Mikos freezing to death in his own ice chamber, and Luke frantically trying to guess the code to unfreeze Port Charles. Luke succeeded, and they all returned to Port Charles as heroes, with Tiffany joining them. Luke and Robert agreed the formula of the ice machine needed to be destroyed to avoid the risk of falling in the wrong hands. Robert eventually left the WSP over disagreements over destroying the ice machine and formula, and for a while dated Tiffany, but a spark that had captured them on the island fizzled after a while. Robert was Luke's best man when he married Laura at a big ceremony in November 1981. At the wedding, Robert was reacquainted with Biko's eventual widow, Helena Cassadine, who came to town to make the huge donation to GH, but secretly put a curse on Luke and Laura. Elizabeth Taylor, of course. Now, in the early 1982, Robert took up with feisty reporter Jackie Templeton, played by the beautiful Debbie Moore, who had come to town searching for a missing sister. Robert was helping Luke search for the missing Laura, and Jackie was searching for her own sister, Laura Templeton, a model whom Laura Spencer resembled. Robert and Luke were trusted in other episodes of World Intrigue with David Gray. The rightful heir to the throne of the fictional kingdom of Malkuth was revealed to have arranged for Laura Spencer's disappearance in exchange for Helena's financing his coup. David Gray was killed in a sword fight with Luke, and Robert was left to console his friend when he was believed Laura had drowned at sea. Luke and Robert next became involved in an oil scam orchestrated by Holly Sutton's crime family, the Durbans, but he managed to stop them as well from succeeding in her scheme to fleece the residents of Port Charles. Now, Robert and Holly eventually married under strange circumstances. Holly was pregnant with the presumed dead Luke's baby and was about to be deported, so Robert stepped in and married her. She ended up miscarrying the baby, but she and Robert eventually fell in love. Jackie Templeton was upset by this turn of events and turned vindictive against Robert for jilting her. Robert had a bad relationship with his brother Mac when he first came to town because he blamed Mac for the death of their parents. Eventually, the brothers patched up their relationship. When Robert was presumed dead, along with his wife Anna Devane in 1992, that's when the Robin Scorpio took over. Now, Tristan Rogers can best be described as a minimalist actor, not say a method actor, but everything he put into the character was on the screen. Now, it would work good with Luke because Luke was fire and Robert was water. Tristan Rogers, again, the only way he was going to leave JH during that time, he was going to be offered James Bond. We know that Pierce Brosnan eventually got it because he did Remington Steele. But I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, he was a top 5 contender to be the new James Bond. A lot of people wanted him to be James Bond because he was macho and a very, very intelligent actor. All I know is that some members of my family have met him at celebrity events, and they're just amazed how cool, calm, and collected he is. He's probably one of the most nice people, but a realist, almost like a Star Trek type character like Patrick Stewart. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the story about Robert Scorpio as Tristan Rogers and Tristan Roberts and Robert Scorpio. If you like what we're doing here with the GH podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, requests are always accepted.